What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. And the Giants just wrapped up their 5th day of practice, their last practice without the pads. The acclimation period is over tomorrow. They're putting the pads on. I cannot wait. I am so freaking pumped and excited to see the offensive line and the defensive line go at it in those team drills. Finally, not just players running around in athletic wear. They've got the pads on tomorrow. Real football is nearly back, so I can't wait. But today, we want to go ahead and discuss some of the top standout players from day 5 of training camp, the 5th practice that the Giants have hosted, and listen, the rookies are standing out. That's the number one thing that I gotta say before we dive into everything. We are seeing some standout performances from the rookies day in and day out, which is just what you want to hear. This is music to my ears, but for what it's worth, some of these veterans are also making plays. Some of these new acquisitions are really popping out. So we're going to go ahead and discuss all these top standouts from today's practice. But before we do, make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? And what are your thoughts on some of these top standouts from day 5 of training camp?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, there's nothing that makes me happier than rookies making an impact early, rookies earning opportunities early. It's day 5 of training camp, guys, and Jalin Hyatt is working with the first team. John Michael Schmitz is working with the first team, and Trey Hawkins is working with the first team today, guys. That's a huge development. Now, we recorded an episode after the draft that the Giants may have landed 2 starting corners, and I think that's aging pretty nicely right about now. I know, Anthony, you tweeted that out, so nice grab there and seeing that video that we made so long ago. But Trey Hawkins, 6'3", he's got legit speed, legit athleticism. His wingspan is legit, and he was working on the boundary with Deonte Banks, and Adoree Jackson was actually in the slot. That's a combination we did not really anticipate. We haven't even really discussed, was Adoree Jackson moving into the slot. Now, the NFL has a ton of elite receivers in the slot these days. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill moves into the slot a lot, and, having Adoree Jackson there, especially if you have those jumbo tight ends, like guys like Travis Kelce and whatnot, you kind of want corners on some of those higher end tight ends in the NFL. So Adoree Jackson playing in the slot isn't like the worst thing in the world, especially if Hawkins can elevate his game and become that good. Now, look, pads are not on. There's a lot left to go. There's a lot of development left to happen, but we are excited about his potential because clearly the coaching staff is excited about his potential, given the fact that they're giving him those reps with the first team. So I think ultimately that's something to keep an eye on. We'll keep you guys updated on that front during the duration of camp. But let's talk about Jalin Hyatt as well here. He was on fire today. Every single day, the guy has a long touchdown pass. The speed is evident. His route running looks pretty crisp. He had a really gorgeous toe drag completion. Hawkins laid out full Superman to try and complete it. The coverage was fantastic. The ball that Jones threw was just exponentially better. Jones has been on fire. Now, again, training camp. Don't want to say much about what that's going to do transitioning to the NFL season, but I will say this. Jones last year took him a couple weeks to get into camp and really look good. He was throwing interceptions left and right. He was not looking so good, but now he knows the offense. He understands the foundations that we've implemented, and he's looking the part of a franchise quarterback. That pressure to get paid, that pressure for kind of loyalty is off of his shoulders. He doesn't have to worry about if the Giants are going to keep him or if they're going to reject his 5th-year option or if they're going to pay him. He got the bag. All he has to do is play football at a high level. That's all he has to worry about. The emotional distress of not knowing what your future holds is no longer there. And I feel like that's a big thing for some people, some players, like not knowing where they're going to go, not knowing what's going to happen. And for him, he got that security, and I feel like now he can just go into the season with one thing in mind, playing damn good football, and he's showcasing that arm talent early in camp, putting the zip on the passes, hard throwing balls, receivers are making catches. And if you guys are listening to this before or after, we're about to interview Darius Slayton's receiver coach, and he worked diligently this offseason on correcting some of his techniques. So if you're watching this without watching the interview, make sure to go check that out on the Fireside Giants YouTube, as always, my friends. But Anthony, tell me a little bit about what you're thinking about Hawkins spending time with the first team, and then Jalin Hyatt just completely destroying lately and forcing the coaching staff to give him opportunities with the ones.
Yeah, these rookies might be the key to success this upcoming season for the Giants, and not just this season, but long term, because you're talking about potentially the Giants landing 2 starting cornerbacks in 1 draft class. So that would mean for the next 4 years at minimum, the Giants would have rookie cornerbacks as starters on those rookie contracts. That's huge because cornerback has become a premium position in the NFL. Cornerbacks get paid a lot of money, and so do wide receivers for what it's worth. So having Jalen Hyatt, a third-round draft pick on a rookie contract for the next 4 years, if he pans out, and Hawkins pans out, and Deontay Banks pans out, I mean, Joe Shane's going to look like a mastermind of a general manager because the Giants are going to be having some elite talent across the board at premium positions on rookie contracts for the next several seasons if these guys do pan out. So that's why I'm so excited, just thinking about the potential of the future of this team. But right now, in the present, what I'm seeing from Trey Hawkins, what I'm seeing from Deontay Banks, and what I'm seeing from Jalen Hyatt has me pumped for this upcoming season. Now, Hyatt, the big question mark for him, could he run routes? Could he play at the NFL level, separate at the NFL level without those manufactured touches that he was getting in Tennessee's offense? So far, he's answering that question. One-on-ones, team drills, doesn't matter. He's breaking ankles, he's running crisp routes, and he's making some difficult catches, sideline, toe tap, long, deep bombs down the sideline, whatever the case might be. Jalen Hyatt has been making freaking plays. So once we get to the preseason in just over a week here, man, I can't wait to see Jalen Hyatt hopefully go out there, break some ankles, and score some touchdowns. He looks like he's going to be the true speedster that the Giants offense was missing. And for a third-round pick to be just bursting onto the scene at training camp like this, I mean, this is a guy who the Giants didn't necessarily plan to put into the starting lineup. If you guys remember when we got to training camp, first day of training camp, this guy was working with the third team and the second team. Now he's working in with the first team, and he's just playing so well that they have to start pushing guys down the depth chart. So that's exactly what we wanted to see from Hyatt, right? Because we thought, this is a boom or bust type of player coming out of the NFL draft. This is a guy, it might take him some time to really work his way up to the first team. Hasn't taken him much time at all. It took him a week. And now he's working in with the first team. So if he can go into preseason, play really well, we might see Jalen Hyatt in the starting lineup by the time we get to week 1 of the regular season. Now again, pads got to come on. We got to watch preseason happen. But right now, there's a lot of hope surrounding Hyatt, a lot of potential that we know he has, and he's starting to realize some of that potential, and it's getting really exciting because if he continues at this pace, keeps developing this way, he should be in the starting lineup during the regular season, and then who knows what could happen. Maybe we got another OBJ on our hands for all we know. That would be great, wouldn't it? Man, I remember those good old days when OBJ was a rookie, second-year player. That was fun. I would love to see Jalen Hyatt kind of recapture some of that magic and be just a stud on a rookie contract at the wide receiver position for the New York Giants. But again, talking about Trey Hawkins, man, has he been impressive or what? That diving pass breakup that he had in coverage against Sterling Shepard, he looked like an NFL veteran. And keep in mind, Sterling Shepard is an NFL veteran. He is the longest tenured member of the New York Giants. Now, I know that he's coming off of an injury, but he's activated off the PUP list, one-on-one drills. Shepard's a great route runner, whether he's coming off of an injury or not. We've seen him in seasons where he had an injury, recovered, comes back, still a great route runner. He's just a good route runner no matter what. But Trey Hawkins sticking with him, I mean, that's what you want to see. That's really, really good signs there. And I really love the prospects and the potential of this defensive secondary. The secondary was a big question mark for me once we got out of this offseason. I thought losing Julian Love might be too big of a hurdle to overcome at some point. The cornerback position, really young, inexperienced. Would they be able to put it all together? I'm starting to gain a lot more confidence. And I do think that the idea of moving Adoree Jackson into the slot could be worthwhile. And I think it actually could have a huge positive impact on this defense because Adoree Jackson, one thing about him, he's been injured a lot throughout his NFL career. He also goes through a lot of wear and tear because he plays on the outside. That means you're playing every single snap. You're not just working into the defense when they're in their nickel package. You're on the field for every single defensive snap. That adds more wear and tear to Adoree Jackson, and playing on the outside, more press coverage, more physical play with these receivers, more tackling. But you move him into the slot, he plays a little bit less. He's on the field for some less snaps. He has to tackle a little bit less. That could be a really big factor for Adoree Jackson that helps him stay healthy throughout this season and helps him play at a higher level. So the idea of moving him into the slot, if Trey Hawkins truly is ready to take on a starting role by week 1, and if Deontay Banks is also ready for a starting role by week 1, that is just potential. So much potential there, and that could lead the Giants to have a really good secondary. But again, these guys are young. They're inexperienced. They're going to have rookie growing pains. We've seen cornerbacks who have all the potential in the world to go into the NFL and really struggle right out of the gate because it's a totally different game. So I want to be patient with these guys and not get too far ahead of myself. But right now, with these two young cornerbacks that we have, Deontay Banks as well, I know Trey Hawkins is grabbing all the buzz right now because he's making plays. Banks has been making plays as well. I'm really excited about the both of them, and I'm very hopeful that they can see a lot of playing time in this upcoming regular season as both of them are rookies. But let's talk about Daniel Jones. I know that you just mentioned him a little bit, but I am just so impressed with him. Every time I see a Daniel Jones highlight, it's just a money throw, a pinpoint accurate, prime Aaron Rodgers looking pass. And I know that it's only training camp, but I just think that Daniel Jones has a different confidence to him right now, and he's just looking so damn good through the first 5 days of training camp. You have to imagine that if this momentum can keep pace throughout the preseason into the start of the regular season, we might be talking about Jones having a massive breakout season. So hype is generating for Daniel Jones. He's still getting ragged on by the likes of Le'Veon Bell and every other talking head that doesn't know what they're talking about. But Daniel Jones, that's my quarterback, and I've been really impressed with him. He looks good, and so does John Michael Schmitz. I've been reading about him. Apparently his snaps have all been very accurate. They're clean, and we're seeing a lot of rotation in that first team offensive line. We've seen John Michael Schmitz take first team reps, and we've also seen Ben Bredesen play a little bit at right guard, and we've seen a lot of Joshua Zito at left guard. So as the pads come on tomorrow, Alex, previewing that, who are you keeping a very close eye on with the offensive line? And maybe with the defensive line as well, because we know that they're really impacted by the fact that the pads are coming on. But, when you're looking at JMS, Josh Zito, the interior of that offensive line, what are you keeping a close eye on as the pads come on tomorrow?
Definitely John Michael Schmitz up against Dexter Lawrence in the trenches. That's a battle. And apparently yesterday, without pads on, for what it's worth, JMS was holding his own. It was like 50-50 against Dexter Lawrence, which is damn impressive for a rookie. I'm looking at Ben Bredesen. Apparently he was starting at right guard today over Mark Lewinsky. Somebody to keep an eye on. Josh Azudu at left guard. So I really want to see Josh Azudu, see if he can win a starting job here. I think in a perfect world, he wins left guard and Glowinski and Ben Bredesen compete at right guard, because ultimately Azudu's a second-year player. He's a draft pick. You want him to develop, keep the cost down. That would be an ideal scenario where you have a young interior and you're kind of just plugging right guard with an experienced guy in Glowinski and a guy in Bredesen who's actually flashed in potential. Bredesen's also our backup center. It seems they're kind of working him in as a center too. So I feel like there is definitely value there. I like Bredesen, actually. I think he's a good player. I think he's a nice utility piece to have, and he can start if need be. Had a little bit of an injury issue last year, but otherwise when he was playing, he was very solid. JMS, though, that's the key there. When you're Daniel Jones and you've been going through centers like crazy. He has gone through centers like no other quarterback, and it's not his fault. It's just the Giants haven't invested at the position. They're finally, allocating attention there, and they get a nice second round rookie in Minnesota product, John Michael Schmitz, and his floor is high. Like, his ceiling may be capped at a certain level, but his floor is at least average, and I think that's a great starting point for what the Giants need, because like, people undervalue centers. You know what I mean? Like, they communicate everything at the line of scrimmage to the other offensive linemen. Like Daniel Jones, if John Michael Schmitz noticed something, taps him, just little indications, things, communication. The more information you have before a snap, the more likely you are that it's going to be successful. So I feel as though JMS is a certain kind of piece here where I'm really keeping an eye on him when the pads come on. Jason Pinnock having another really nice day. He got a lot of love yesterday with all the clips and photos of his one-handed grab, so shout out to him as well. There's a lot of guys that are having really good camps, guys. I mean, like Deontay Banks had a really good day today. He had a pass breakup. Things were quiet on his end, so no reason to freak out over there. Right now, there's just a lot of players playing well, and a lot of those guys are youngsters, and that's exactly what you want to see. The veterans taking it easy. Some of the guys who have been here for a while, making sure they're not getting hurt. Darren Waller, on the other hand, is destroying everybody. All the things that we want, all the pieces we added this offseason are shining. Paris Campbell had a sick grab today, a couple nice catches today, including a touchdown over the shoulder snag with Daniel Jones' freaking laser beam. It was great. Like, all the guys we brought in are shining in training camp, which is not something that we're used to. We're not really used to this level of success during camp from everybody that we brought in, which kind of indicates to me they did a damn good of bringing the right guys in. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited for the pads to come on, and that's where we're really going to see some of the advancements that we are so excited about, and some of these rookies really take the next step.
Hell yeah, brother. Absolutely. I can't wait for the pads to come on. Tomorrow's practice is going to be really, really exciting. Now, of course, pads come on, a little bit more bang, bang, a little bit more weight on your shoulders as a player, hoping that we don't see any injuries at New York Giants training camp so far through the first 5 days. Not too many injuries. I know that we lost J.C. Hassenauer, who had that Brian Dable connection, backup center. Tore his tricep. Don't think he's going to be playing this season. Really unfortunate there. But hopefully, again, as the pads come on, that these players stay healthy, and we can just continue to watch these guys develop week in, week out, practice in and practice out, and get ready for the regular season. The preseason's right around the corner. Again, we're like 10, 11 days away. So, man, I'm pumped. I'm over the moon right now. New York Giants football is back. I'm excited about it. More excited than I've been in years for New York Giants football. So I'm super pumped. I know all of you are as well. And we're going to continue to update you on everything surrounding New York Giants training camp right here on Fireside Giants. So make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. But without further ado, we will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.